students to do afforestation at high altitudes. And we've got quite a contingent of Nepalese foresters in the Institute's ranks. And a new project headed up by a member of Orleans section in Cameroon and another community forest program. So helping folks to restore ecosystems that have been degraded in some way, where their forests aren't healthy or strong, and using the expertise of our members and the funds that are raised here and everywhere else to do that good work and get people using things sustainably. And we're very proud of this program. It really showcases forest professionalism in Canada. It's got a great history in the future, great history so far and great future looking forward. Mentioned I was in China. We have a theme issue of the Chronicle just out, Beijing Forestry University, but we're going to be helping them with science and publishing across the Asia-Pacific region, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, all those countries, as well as China. And delegations are coming back and forth constantly. Certainly Alberta's been instrumental in helping the Institute to have a role in China, and we're very grateful for AESRD in that capacity. We've got a good partnership there. And finally, on the international front, the Institute's taken a lead role in Task 43, International Agency Task 43, basically communicating and proving to the Europeans that our biomass is from sustainably managed forests. And there's some doubt there. We're refuting that doubt and moving things forward. I call partners together from all over the country to make that happen. So this is my pet project. It just started up on April 1st, and everything I've described basically, you know, we've been doing in an ad hoc sort of informal way. And the group of us decided, wouldn't it be great if we had something more formal, more polished and packaged that we could sell and get better at getting partners and sponsors and that sort of thing. So we came up with this Science Extension Education Knowledge Program or partnership. We call it CAPFT. But it really takes advantage of the fact that the Institute's been doing all of these kinds of things and has so many irons in the fire all over the country and is working so well with so many different groups. You know, we work well with the Foothills Research Institute, with FRIA here, with the University of Alberta, and I could tell you stories like that across the country, different groups we work very well with and make things happen. We bring people together very well in one tent and in common ground and neutral territory. So this is what we've come up with, and it's got its own logo now and everything. I don't have the logo in this slide, but it's taking advantage of the fact that we're the audience and the platform both. You know, we can deliver on all these things through our volunteer capacity and everything we've got going in our products and services, but we can also be our own audience, and by networking to folks like you through the lectures and everywhere else in the country, we can come up with something pretty formidable. So CIFSEEK is taking off. Proud to say this year, its first year, we've already managed to build about a $700,000 program. A lot of that's money in, money out. We use it to do things. We keep maybe 5% for admin, I think it is, and 3% for extension knowledge exchange, but I actually have a pot of money just for extension knowledge exchange, which we'll use to partner with the sections and some of the other groups and leverage and make good extension knowledge exchange happen. Continue to make it happen. We've been called an honest broker for a long time. You know, again, the neutral ground, the group that can be a clearinghouse for so much and make so much happen, the way I've been describing. I kind of think the way we've restructured our dues and taken this chance, and there's also group discounts negotiable. We've got that set up with CAPFT, and we're hoping we can reach a certain threshold. We can basically be a value-added partner. So where, say, a professional association dues is considerably higher than the CIF, hopefully we're seen as a little surcharge, or just a little extra you pay to make sure you maintain your competency, maintain your professional status, that sort of thing. And I'm banking on that. I just got an email a few minutes ago that a group here, MNP, I forget what they stand for. Yeah. They just signed up 11 new members this morning. So that's the kind of thing. This is appealing to a lot of folks. That we're now differentiating on the Chronicle paper versus electronic, and we can give you a bit of a break even beyond that if we can get a number of you in. And then that in turn allows us to leverage those partnerships and sponsorships and do even more. We've had great success with our staff. One of the few things I'm very good at is getting money to give young people a chance to try something on an internship for a year. And we can get little pots of money from different programs, federally, FedNor, for instance, the Canadian Forest Service. They give us 90% of the funding for a position for a year, and we can top it up with another partner. And we had 5 interns this year, and they sure make me look good. That's the truth, and they're all energetic, enthusiastic, talented, smart. They're from all over the country too, and I've got a good opportunity to make the whole internship program national, have CIF interns stationed all across the country. But the most important thing is they're inexpensive. I'm not allowed to say cheap. They're inexpensive. So nothing like being able to do good things and it doesn't cost you much. So I give them all the credit in the world. So, and we seem to have a revolving door. And they themselves go on to great things. They establish their network. They get to know our members all across the country, and people hire them pretty quickly. Some of them are running. Well, one's charged the Biomass Innovation Center at Epstein University. One's running the environmental program at Atomic Energy of Canada Limited. You know, that's the kind of jobs they're going to. This is our board at the Quebec conference this past September, and it truly is a shoestring success story. Everything I described that we're doing, separate from the SIF seat, which feeds a little bit of money into our admin, we do on about a $700,000 a year budget. That's pretty darn good. And it's because of folks like this, and there's quite a few Albertans there, that we're able to make this successful. Getting down to the end of the presentation, and it's almost exactly 30 minutes. I'm pretty impressed. That's not an easy thing. We've got a great conference planned in Newfoundland in Corner Brook this September. A lot of interest. I don't know why. There's going to be no partying, no drinking, no music. In Newfoundland. Good joke there. But it is a great. David Lindsay actually backs our keynote. If he shows up, maybe we'll get Craig to come there to replace him. But the committee has a great agenda and some amazing field tours in Grossmore National Park, where the park people are after the forest practitioners and professionals to help them with regen, because the moose are eating everything. I was there a while back, and they're pulling their hair out trying to keep their forests healthy in Grossmore. So no harvesting or anything going on. Anyway, it should be a great conference. I always finish. I think I'm far too young to be a grandfather. This is my new grandson, Ian. He's 11 months old this coming week, actually. And he's a cool dude. And then I get down on the floor and play with him for a half an hour, and I realize, well, maybe I should be a grandfather category because I can't get up again. So, I don't know if we have a few minutes for questions, or if there are any questions, I'd be really happy to answer them. But I want to thank CAPFT again. I know a lot of you are members. I want to thank you for your support. We want to feed back whatever we can, give you a national profile with our communications efforts. Certainly love to see a featured article on this session in the Chronicle. And those e-lectures, again, are free. You know, they're free when they're live, not after they've been archived.
So we have time for 2 questions.
I'll talk to my daughter about that. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, we got an email through CAPFT to circulate about the deal with the group members. Who do we contact exactly? Because I know for myself, like, I'm interested, and I don't know if anybody else in this room is interested that maybe isn't a CIF member already. Do we contact you directly, or the person at the bottom of the email that came through our...
I think Chanel's actually set up something on your website so you can go through and pay your CIF dues directly. And it goes right into our bank account, doesn't it, Chanel? No.
Swiss one.
Oh, okay.
We take that little bit off the top.
Oh, right.
So we get that 1.5%.
The kickback, eh? Yeah.
So it's not an individual thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and sorry, I think I confused that with CAPFT. Doug set that up a few years ago where we could do that. I think that's the eventual pulp. But again, the idea is we're going to take a chance on this. I mean, some members out there who do pay the full dues might be a little ticked, but this is kind of a loss later. It's give the CIF a try thing, and if it works and we get a threshold of a certain number, we can put the dues down for everybody as a group sign up. Like I have the authorization from our board to do that and give that a try, and it is working. Well, we'll probably be up anywhere, you never know how many people are going to renew, but we'll be up 300 to 500 members this year. So I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, thanks.
So, stay tuned, you know, something like that. Any other questions?
All right, well, thanks again. I got to run some meetings, but again, I really appreciate the opportunity to present.
Okay, well, thank you, John. I just wanted to make a comment about CIF and that. As an employer in that, I joined up my whole professional staff. It matters if they're foresters, biologists, GIS people, I had them all join CIF. I think, you know, there's benefits for that, and it's just another resource that they can use to know what's going on in their industry. So, if you're an employer, manager, whatever, you have professionals in your organization, they don't have to be forestry professionals to be part of CIF. Okay, up next is Grant Williamson, who's the Transformation Manager from Canadian Institute of Forestry. Transformation Manager or Director? Manager, okay. So, and he's going to be talking about the transformation process, what we have done, and what we're going, or where are we going. So this is a little bit of a bio on Grant before I come up. So, graduated from the University of Alberta in 1980. Started his career in Mackenzie working for the British Columbia Forest Products. Moved back to Alberta and worked for the Alberta Forest Service for 10 years in management planning, and then on to Grand Prairie as timber management forester. Left the Alberta Forest Service to work for the Canadian Forest Service as a development coordinator for the Manitoba Partnership Agreement in Forestry. Moved back to Alberta when the Ainsworth Mill started up in 1995 and spent 18 years with Ainsworth. Job titles included Divisional Forester and Divisional Operations Superintendent. Left Ainsworth at the end of 2012 and working as a forestry consultant and is working as a forestry consultant out of his home. Position as a transformation manager is on a contract basis with CAPFT, and I believe he started last summer, correct? Okay, so I'd like you to welcome Grant up to the stage for his presentation.
Well, thank you very much, Pat. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon and speak to you today about some of the things that we've been doing in our transformation process. It's an initiative that started a few years ago. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history of what we've done to date and give you a little bit of information about where we're going to be taking the transformation process. Before I get into it, we have Robert Anderson, who is the president of CAPFT, and he's here with us today, so I can ask him to come up and maybe say a few introductory comments as well. Robert has been instrumental in getting this thing going and has been working very hard on our transformation initiative and has a lot of history on some of the things that we've done
off, I'd like to congratulate you folks on the meeting that you're having. I especially liked your tech session yesterday. I thought that was one of the best tech sessions I've been to in my, what is it, almost 35-year career. So congratulations, you guys, on that tech session. I never knew red squirrels were so vicious. So congratulations on that. One of the things that, one of the obligations that we have as executive of CAPFT, and if you're on council, is to listen. And the people that we have to listen to include what the government has to say in terms of occupations and professions. Adrian Pritchard is here from there, and we have to listen to the advice that they give us and take that into consideration. We also have to listen to the government of Alberta, ESRD, and listen to what they're telling us about what they're wanting to have happen to the profession of forestry. And we have to listen to the rest of the employers on what they're telling us. And we really have to listen to our public members. They've been designated by the province to provide us with advice. They're obligated to provide us with advice, and we're obligated to listen. And the last people we have to listen to is our members. And I kind of put it last for a reason, because we do have to consider all the other people that I mentioned, and as well as our membership. So I'll tell you where we are right now. I can tell you that occupations and professions folks are strongly suggesting that we look at some sort of partnershiping with this college in particular, and maybe the biologists, and maybe other professions as well. And they're encouraging us to do that. I can tell you that the interviews that we've had with ESRD are suggesting strongly that we look at partnerships and being more inclusive. I can tell you that our public members are saying be bold and take initiative and look at finding ways to join forces and become a voice. Some of what they're telling me, what I'm hearing from them, is that we're split up, fragmented enough that we're not really a strong voice. And so I think we are trying to listen. And we have taken some action on that. We hired Grant part-time to start to carry the ball. And we've talked now to our membership. And on the most part, we're hearing very positive things about some sort of stronger kind of partnership with this college. There's only been, I'll be honest with you guys, there's only been a couple of guys that have squawked a little bit, and I suppose we have to calm them down. So I think we're well on the way. We have lots in common. We stand shoulder to shoulder on most of the work that we do. Why not look at becoming closer somehow in the way that we present ourselves and start being a voice? If we don't, I think we run the risk of disappearing. I worked for many years in rural Alberta, and it was nice to see a bunch of you folks that I worked with in Rocky, for example, over the earlier years of my career. When you're in a small town, people understood what you do if you're in forestry. I moved to Edmonton, and I had to explain to people what I do. I'm And I'm sure it's the same with others, with you guys as well. And we're almost invisible to the majority of people in the province of Alberta. And we have to find ways to become a voice. Because I think that our profession do the best work in terms of land management. And we're gonna have to step up and do something. So, you know, my goal with my last few months as the president, and Noel will take over the reins in a couple of months, is to be open and transparent about what we're doing. We really don't have an answer yet about what we're looking for in terms of a changed relationship with you guys. But I can tell you that the direction that I want to see is that we're working shoulder to shoulder with you know, a common goal, and maybe not be like those red squirrels that are gobbling each other up. And you know, let's work cooperatively and become something stronger of a voice. One of the things that I hear as well is, and I'm hearing it from both colleges and the members there, is around title. And I think we can probably find easy ways. Everybody can keep their titles. And let's find ways to join forces somehow. So that's about all I want to say. I can tell you that I'm really happy with the work that Grant and Doug have done. They've been doing the heavy lifting on the work with the transformation. I will be presenting now some of what work we've done and where we're at. So if you have any further questions, you can come and see me after. You can email our college. You can talk with Pat. And let's keep this moving.
Thanks very much, Bob, Robert. I always call him Bob because I've known him a long time. So yeah, I mean, this has been going on for quite a number of years, this concept of transformation within the college. And it started with a committee that was formed about 3 years ago. The goal of the committee at that time was to enable CAPFT, or its derivative, to become a self-sustaining, large, and relevant organization that has the capacity and breadth to regulate professional forestry or management of forest land natural resources practice in Alberta. That's a pretty all-encompassing goal, and you know, but I think it speaks to where we are hoping to go to in the long term. The measurement of success is going to be that our membership is growing or stable at a critical mass that enables the organization to provide leadership, regulatory controls, and member guidance in the practice of forestry. The college is active, respected, and acknowledged as a significant force in the practice of forestry in Alberta, and professionals engaged in forestry-related work actively seek membership in the college because they want to. They see some value in being a member of the college. And I think that's a key point, because we have heard some discontent over the past number of years about what's the value of being in the college. And you know, there's a lot of value in being in the college, and you sometimes need to step back and think about what that value is. But this has been a good process for us to speak to our membership about that and get their thoughts about where they think the value should be. The Transformation Committee came up with 3 main areas to focus on. One of them was promotion. We recognized the need for both external and internal promotion. You know, it's pretty clear that CAPFT and RPS are not well known in the public arena. There was some concept that it's not clear what value CAPFT brings to its members. And we're not, and this is a key point, we heard a lot about this morning with Greg's presentation as well, but we're really not perceived as green or an environmental organization. And it's contradictory to why we all went into this profession, I think, in the first place. I mean, we're sustainable, we're the greenest industry in Alberta, we heard this morning, and I believe that's true, but we're not seen that way. So we have some work to do in public relations arena. expansion. How could we expand? We should become more inclusive and consider including related and allied professional organizations within us. One way to do that might be to develop a specialist pathway, so somebody coming from a biology degree or some other professional designation, maybe we could figure out a way for them to take some training and get into our college or develop a certification pathway. I just want to step back for a little bit and mention that this committee also had the help of a management consultant, Ian Murray and Company, I think was the name. And one of the things that was suggested in the management consultant report was consider an exclusive scope of practice. I'm going to speak to that a little bit as we go through this presentation, but that's not, I guess, a recommendation that we're going to consider at this point in time, and I'll tell you why a little bit later. You know, I think the other bullets on this slide are relevant, but we don't see that as a topic right now, and we're not going to consider that as we go forward. Another topic area or suggestion is that we really need to think about how we're organized and think about reorganization of our CAPFT. We're not organized for development or promotional activities, and that's why we're not very well known in the public arena. We should hire a director of planning, which became a transformation manager, and I've been hired on a part-time basis to help lead this process. We may need to think about reorganizing to address some of the expansion issues that we have out there. And we should consider reorganizing our committee structure. We've been in place for quite a number of years now as an organization. It's always good to take a retrospective look at what you're doing and why you're doing it, and there's probably some better ways to deliver some of our programs. Some of the things that we talked about as we go through this transformation process was continue to develop a marketing strategy. We want to continue to work with the university to promote the forestry program, develop a strategic plan with some long-term guidance, and continue to develop certification specialist pathways. Sorry, this thing jumped ahead of myself quite a bit. I think that was right. So, from the Transformation Committee report, we also started down a process where we wanted to interview some key people in the province. And we looked at public members. We thought it was important that we interview all of our public members. We interviewed some key senior government staff, some senior industry staff, some of the environmental groups. We talked to some people from the university. And we talked to our PC Transformation Committee members about their experiences in building the process today. The purpose of speaking to all these people was to get some input on where they thought we should be, and also to get some input on what are some of the roadblocks that we should consider as developing this transformation process. And you know, Robert spoke to the importance of the public members, and I think that's key. We really wanted to speak to all of our public members and make sure we understood what their thoughts and concerns were, and get a feel for where they thought we should go. Some of the common themes from the interview process was that we need to reorganize or recognize the need to change to maintain a vibrant organization. We need to find ways to make the forestry program more attractive to students. There's quite a concern that there's 350 students enrolled in the ENCS program at the University of Alberta, and there's about 30 or 40 students enrolled in all of the university forestry programs. So we've kind of lost ground in our ability to attract people to the profession. We need to rebrand ourselves to portray a greener image. And that's both to the public and to be able to market our value to employers. And again, we heard a little bit about that this morning, and we found that was very true as we were going through the interview process. We need to identify value to our members. We want people to want to join, and maybe that's that's a goal that might be hard to get. But we think people should want to join the organization. There should be value outside of a regulated government role. We want to be proactive with respect to public awareness. Very little public awareness of CAPFT exists right now. It's probably a need for your organization as well. We think there's probably a role for us to play in speaking about some forestry issues and providing some information to the public so they can make better informed decisions. We think it's probably time to look at our mission, our vision, and our objective statement and evaluate if these are still relevant or do we need to refocus some of that effort. So after we gathered the information from speaking to key people in the province, we decided that we probably need to get a little bit more information from our own members in our college. And we designed a survey that we sent to all of our membership. It was a fairly extensive survey, and we had pretty good success in getting some response back. We not only included some boxes that you can check off to get some information on demographics and where you work, and some of that information we thought was important. But we also provided an opportunity for people to provide written comments to us about what's important to them, what is the value of the college, what are some of the job descriptions that they are doing now, so that we could get a sense of our scope of practice. Is it still relevant? We had about 40% response rate to our survey, and we did this through a professional survey management company. They said that response rate is actually very good. They were expecting somewhere around, typically they get 20% or something response. We had, I guess people think this process is important. One of the questions we asked in our survey is, who's your current employer? We wanted to get a sense of where our members were working in the province. About 25% of our members are working with the provincial government. Just over 35% are in the private industry. 17% in consulting. Over 10% of our members are self-employed. Some are working at the university and academia, and just under 10% are in other industries identified on the option boxes. One of the concerns we had at the start of that whole process was our demographics. When we looked around the room, at our meeting room, there was a lot of senior members, and there was a lot of gray hair. And when you think about the number of students that are entering a forestry program at the university, you start to be concerned about that. And obviously, if we're going to be sustainable, you want to know where the gaps are going to be. And so we looked at when are you going to retire, or if you are planning on changing career paths in the next 0 to 5, 6 to 10 years, and so on. So about 35% of our members plan to be a forestry profession in the next 10 years. That's very significant. And again, it's very significant when you think of the number of people that are entering the profession. And so that was one of our areas of concern. One of the questions we asked our members was, how would you describe the value of being a member of the college? And we got quite a range of responses back. Some people thought professional accountability was important. That's why I wanted to be a member of the college. Continuing competency program was important for some. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but one of the large pieces of the pie that caused us concern was the people that said there's limited value to being a member of the college. And I just want to comment on that. It was a written response, and although they said there was limited value to being a member of the college, they also added a but statement to it. It was, but I like the fact that I have a chance to meet with other professionals in a meeting somewhere, or I like the continuing competency program. So, I think you can take that with a bit of a grain of salt. The other thing to think about for that is that we have some opportunity. We have some opportunity to maybe change so that we are more relevant to our members. And we're looking for some input on how we might be able to do that. When we finished off the survey, we summarized some of the common themes from the surveys for the information that we got back. There was a clear requirement for a marketing strategy. Again, it was to address that issue, that feeling that we're not really very well known in the public arena. There's a lot of things that we should be doing to speak to some of the issues that are important to the public. There was a very strong consent amongst our membership regarding forest stewardship, and that we really should play a stronger role in forest stewardship in the province. There was strong support for redefining our scope of practice. When we looked at what people were doing and we responded to what is your job title today, and then we compare that to what our current scope of practice, how that is defined. There's a lot of things that we do as foresters and resource managers that are not very well described in our current scope of practice. So I think there's some merit in looking at that. There is strong support for inclusion of other disciplines, and that included CAPFT as well as the biologists and some of the other natural science professions in the province. And then there was a recognition that we need to address the enrollment in the forestry program at the U of A. And there's things that we can do to help the U of A attract students. And we think one of the things that we can do is be a little bit more visible and a little bit more vocal about some of the opportunities that are out there in the forestry profession. And, if you're a young person trying to decide between a program in environmental science and a traditional forestry program, you should be aware of that, and that should be something that helps you make your decision on. There's all these job opportunities in a forestry program, and probably a more limited job opportunity in the environmental science program. So we would like to help the university work on that. We had a bit of a traveling roadshow. We spent some time in Grand Prairie, Whitecourt, and Edmonton, and this was an opportunity for us to present the results of our survey and to talk about the results of the interview process with our members in these areas. And also we wanted to get a sense of some feedback from them on which direction they think we should take this process. One of the things that we talked about, because it was mentioned in the Transformation Committee report, was the exclusive scope of practice. When we went through the interview process with senior government people and with our public members, it was pretty clear that we should not pursue this at this time. And we presented that, and I think the feedback we got back from our members, and it's not 100% where everybody thinks the same way, but there's general agreement that we should not pursue this at this time. It's not a good use of our resources. There's no political will to consider exclusive scope of practice, and it's not the model that the government and Adrian, you might, I think you gave us this direction that it's not the current model that the government is looking at. There was a lot of discussion that we should be more inclusive and increase the critical mass of the organization. So as CAPFT, we're about 700 members. As CAPFT and CAPFT, I think we're about 1,400 to 1,500 members. We could potentially be 10,000 members if you include the biologists, chemists, and the NCS grads. So there's lots of opportunity out there to do that. The input we got from our members is it's time to move on. We should focus on competence and not restrict people from doing the job they are currently able to do. David, I think you spoke to that this morning very well, and I think our members agree with that. There is some comment out there about why would you go to university for 4 years if you can do the same job after 2 years at major or some other program. I think you make those choices about whether you want to go to university or NAIT, regardless of professional organizations. any rate, the general consensus from our membership is we should not pursue it. It's the advice we've gotten from our public members and it's on that basis that we're moving forward. So to become a more inclusive college, we talked about that at the workshops, and we threw some options out for people to consider. You know, do we start with a merger or an alliance with CAPFT and see where that takes us? And we also talked about a larger merger that would involve the biologists, the chemists, the agrologists, the ENCS grads, and of course CAPFT. Some of the concerns that we got back were there's a lot of things to consider, and we're certainly in no position to be able to vote on that kind of a strategy because you need to put some detail into the package to expect people to support it or not to support it. Some of the things that we do have to go back and think about is right to title, scope of practice, you know, existing RPF regulations, our bylaws, your bylaws, the biologists, what they have in place, and potential mobility. So there's a number of things that you have to consider as you develop this stuff. It's pretty clear also when we go to speak to groups about the potential of a merger that we need to be clear about what the advantages of a merger or alliance would be. And that's a question that was put to us a number of times. Is it an advantage, just a numbers advantage, or is there other reasons why we should merge with other colleges? And we've done some work on that because we've started to put some thought and a process together on that. One of our messages was pretty clear was don't start with the easy stuff that has the potential to preclude options of where you want to be in the long run. So if at the end of the day we want to be a large college of 10,000 people that includes all the natural resource science professions in the province, be careful of how you start out and be careful of how that you don't strike a deal with any one group that's going to limit you from reaching that final objective. So we'll keep that in mind moving forward. A general message that came to us is that we should not think small, we should lead the process. We should think about a college of natural resource professionals or natural science professions. And we should be involved and engaged in the early days as that is developed. The concern with the university program, I'm not going to spend much time on that, but we've spoken about that enough, I think. We do want to work with the university to try to get track students back into the forestry program. We think there's some real opportunities in jobs and in professions in that program. And so we're going to try and help them out with marketing and promoting as much as we can. The whole issue of marketing has been an area that we think we need to focus on to some extent. We need to rebrand ourselves. We are not perceived as a green profession, which is a little bit ironic, I think, to us. And that was pretty clear from the surveys and the workshops. Our public role as an organization is not very well understood, and we need to be more involved in the public arena. And there is an opportunity to increase the value of our membership through a marketing strategy that provides employers and the public with a clear picture of who we are and what we do and what we are about. We do recognize that it costs a lot of money to develop a marketing strategy. We need to approach that with some caution and stay within our budget and our abilities. We think there's a lot more opportunity for good marketing strategies as a larger organization than there is as a small organization. So that is one of the advantages. Key messages, I think I talked about this already. Don't start with easy stuff. Make sure you don't preclude your options by taking an easy route. Mergers are inevitable. Let's control our fate and take the lead in the discussion. You know, we got quite a few comments back. The more we stay the same, the more we stay the same. So I think our members are telling us it's time to move forward. We've talked about this. Bill at the table mentioned earlier that they put quite a bit of work into this a number of years ago. So we should look back at what we've already done. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. think we'll take advantage of that work that's been done in the past. So that's kind of some of the key projects that we've had completed to date, and some of the response we got back. Do we have 100% consensus from all of our members on what we want to do? No, we don't. We still have some people that think we should have exclusive scope of practice. I don't think we have very many, but there's some. We have people that think you should recognize a 4-year program differently than a 2-year program. I think those are minor obstacles moving forward. I really do think we have some, we have enough consensus with our membership that it's time to move forward. And we had a pretty good initial meeting with CAPFT executive and our executive. I think there's a lot of potential to do some things together. So the partnership initiative, we've talked about that a little bit. And again, there isn't enough detail in the proposal to expect anybody to vote on a partnership initiative, whether we think it's a good thing or not. But I think there is enough momentum to start working on putting something together that's a little clearer of what it would mean. And we have initiated that discussion. Pat spoke to the letter that went out to our members a couple of weeks ago. So we think maybe the first thing we need to do is get together and start to talk about and then identify the advantages. We've worked on that a little bit. We do think there is an ultimate goal that's going to include more than just CAPFT and CAPFT, whether it's a Natural Resource Professions Act or Natural Sciences, whatever it's called. And our organization has had some meetings with the chemists and the biologists, and I'd have to say, it's pretty positive. I think they're interested in that process as well. We need to, if we are going to go down that road, we think we should be looking at some existing models, not only within our own province, but in other provinces. Other provinces have come together on this, and we don't want to reinvent the wheel if we don't have to. I think this is time. So we have a task force in place. We have a working group. We're going to identify some principles and a process going forward. I think that our first meeting is May the 2nd, or it's in early May at any rate.
May 1st.
May 1st. Good thing I knew that. Show up on the 2nd. After that meeting, we're going to go back to our council to see if there's enough traction to move forward. We've got some pretty clear directions from our council that they do want us to move forward on that. We want to develop a proposal, with enough detail to put to our respective memberships. And how that's ratified in the long term is going to be up to your college and how you guys do it, and how to think about how we are going to do it as well. I spoke about a larger, more inclusive college, and that's clearly the direction that I think our members want to go. We have initiated discussions to determine interest with the chemists and the biologists. We haven't done anything with the university with respect to the ENCS grads, and we've made, express or sent some invitations to the hydrologists, but we really haven't got anything back from the hydrologists, so I'm not sure about their interest in this. We have looked at some existing models, the Health Professions Act. We started to look at other provinces and see what they're doing to determine what the appropriate model might look like. And we're going to continue the dialogue with our membership to see where they think we should go, and if there's some other options for us to consider. Marketing strategy. That's really all I have to say. I think that leaves about 10 minutes for some questions or some discussion, or I wouldn't mind hearing some of your thoughts about what we've been talking about this morning. I will open the floor for comment.
Are you going to have a microphone or anything like that? No? I think
Yeah,
this is too narrow.
wait. Kelvin's got a microphone over there, so Bill's got a question?
built in with the Footnotes Research Institute. Thank you, Grant. That was very encouraging. Most of you possibly remember about 6 or 7 years ago an initiative undertaken to examine a potential partnership between the colleges, and I was very much involved in that. And it's something that I'm very encouraged to see it come back to the forefront in terms of moving forward with such an idea. Something that I've always very strongly supported. I thought it was a very good idea. There's just so much commonality between the two colleges, as Bob pointed out, that I think it's inevitable and something that I'd like to speak very strongly towards supporting, and I myself really want to get involved and help out with this initiative. So that's great, Grant and Robert. Thank you. But a question I had for you, and it's specific to marketing. Everybody always talks about how we have to raise the profile of our organization, and I think there's a simple answer to it. It just takes money. I mean, harp players want to raise the profile of their organization, and I'd like to know what sort of thoughts your group has towards raising your profile through marketing that isn't going to cost a lot of money, that will achieve some of the objectives you're trying to achieve with raising the profile.
I agree with you 100% that any serious marketing program or project is going to be expensive, and we recognize that. But having said that, I think there still are a number of areas that we can be more involved in. And I'm just going to relate back to one of the interviews we did with the Alberta naturalist. And the comment that she got back, or that she gave back to me was, you know, there used to be a really good information exchange between government and professional organizations and environmental groups. And she said that's missing in today's discussion. That's not there. So people make bad decisions and they make emotional decisions and they get involved in that debate but it's not based on much. And I don't know if that's a marketing thing or if that's an awareness thing, but I think we need to get involved in that area, for example. Providing some information, and there's lots of, I realize that there's lots of areas where it's not black and white and we don't want to go there, but there's lots of areas that we could provide information. And John spoke to it as the CIF is doing that, and I think we probably could do that too. So that's not so much marketing, but maybe promotion and awareness. We think we can be much more involved with the university. We should be speaking to the students and making them aware of some of the decisions that they make or not making, both of which direction they go. We have some opportunity to be more involved with them. And just, our memberships in our communities. I think we could definitely raise our profile by being a little more active within our communities about the forest profession and natural resource management. It does take money. I know like a shiny marketing scheme is expensive, and maybe that is something we can do in the longer term, but in the shorter term, I think there's other issues.
Thanks, Grant. Reynolds. I too was with Bill several years ago developing our amalgamation opportunities, and we looked at several scenarios. So I offer a couple comments to take forward, both for your organization and for our own representation. Is that process was, I thought, very collaborative and positive, but it really got weird at the end. It was very, very clear to me what happened. And going forward through the process that CAPFT has went through over the last 12 months was weird as well. I mean, I have lots of friends that are foresters involved in the information sessions, and again, the information that I was receiving was mixed and concerning. So all I share is when we go forward, a good communication strategy, communications plan is really key to getting the right information out, both to your membership and our membership through that process. And then specifically for our membership, stated objectives and principles around the discussion that we have as we move forward. So it's very clear to our respective memberships of how we're going to engage and how we pursue this.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think that's going to be Bob spoke about a couple of things that were negative, and I have to say that, you know, they were negative, but I don't think they were based on good information about what's been done to date, so it's that communication thing. Yeah, very important for sure.
On the CAPFT side, I don't know what Grant was saying. When we sat down 3 weeks ago, or whatever it was last month, that was one of the key aspects that we, you know, we spent a lot of time talking about how do we communicate this, how do we go forward, and we realized that that's going to be one of the key things is to keep communication up. So we're going to continue to see things either through emails from Bob and myself, or stuff coming from Grant, or Doug and Chanel, about where we sit, and that kind of stuff, and, you know, might be through joint, technical newsletters, that kind of stuff, like, we've talked about maybe instead of us having the 410, you guys have the pro news, is that what, yeah, pro news, maybe we can do something together, but we have to decide on the council, to do some of that, but we realize that's one of the biggest steps, is keeping everybody, or keeping the communications open, so there isn't all that misinformation out there. Well, you kind of mentioned. The joint, task force. As Grant said, yeah, the first step would be members from the executive of both colleges and the executive directors sitting down and scoping out the member, not maybe not memorandum of understanding, but at least the process of moving forward. And then from there, we'll probably look at getting some task force, and I know Bill's already volunteered on our side to help, so I may reach out to Ray also, since I know he was part of it, so get some information.
I think one of the first things we're gonna do is develop some principles that we can, you know, base the discussions going forward on. And we hope to do that at our campus.
The other thing with those, that, the task force, or the subcommittee and that kind of stuff, we also want to have new membership representation, so we want that have just become RPFT, or just graduated from 2 or 3 years ago, come in and get, or be part of that group. We need their input too. Our liners may be different